Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be going to an article here that, to be perfectly frank guys, is going to scare the crap out of some of you. Okay? Particularly you guys that like to do one-night stands. And the title of the article is, A Woman Faked Having a Baby to Keep Her One-Night Stand Around. And you're going to see this article here, which is true, that this woman, one-night stand with a guy, and obviously became obsessed with him, and then later on ran into him somewhere and borrowed a baby, fake birth certificate, the whole 9 yards, to convince this guy that this was his child to keep this guy around. It's crazy. And as I go through the article here and get more into detail in it and hear about other stories, this really is going to make the expression bitches be crazy pretty accurate here. So I'm going to go through this article here. Again, title is, A Woman Faked Having a Baby to Keep Her One-Night Stand Around. Charmaine Wilson created a fake birth certificate, a fraudulent DNA test, and then borrowed a toddler from a friend in order to convince some guy she had slept with one time to stay with her. Charmaine Wilson, a 25-year-old nurse from Bridgend, South Wales, was charged with fraud last month when her beau found out that the toddler she had said been conceived during their one-night stand was actually a kid she had been borrowing from a friend for the last 6 months. 6 months she was borrowing her friend's baby to trap this guy. Insane. Wilson met Liam Griffiths, her baby daddy, in 2012 when they had some kind of drunken one-night stand. Griffiths said he made it clear that he wasn't interested in doing it again. But Wilson apparently was hung up on him and produced to stalk him on social media. Griffiths said he blocked her and changed his number. Guys, if you even I get the whole hot crazy scale, but you even get a hint that a woman that you meet for obviously a one-night stand is nuts, get out of there. It's not worth it. Seriously. Goes on to say, so when Wilson ran into him at the hospital where she worked, and it says here he was there reportedly visiting his dying grandfather, she borrowed a toddler from her friend and told Griffiths that it was his. When he demanded proof, Wilson used her position as a nurse to create a fraudulent birth certificate and forge a DNA test. Whew, that's crazy, guys. I'm going to pause here because there are some really puzzling components to the story already. Number one, did the parent willingly lend out their toddler for this elaborate con? Maybe it seemed like a harmless joke at first, but what kind of person is like, yeah, borrow my kid for a few months or whatever, and let me know how it goes with the guy you're trying to get back with? Well, like attracts like, birds of a feather flock together, so that this woman is obviously crazy. Obviously her friends are crazy. Number two, how long did Wilson think this con was going to last? It's one thing to convince Griffiths that the baby is his, but do you then have to keep the charade up for the rest of your life together? Do you have to enroll the kid in school and raise him? If so, it's not really borrowing the kid so much as taking it forever. Well, first of all, the person writing this article obviously is on the basis of thinking that this woman is sane. This woman is crazy. And obviously so is her friend to participate in this. Okay, there's no logical thinking here. This woman is batshit crazy. Number three, speaking of which, is it really that easy to forge birth certificates in the UK? Well, apparently so. Number four, what the F is wrong with people? Well, like I said, bitches be crazy. It's just one guy. I mean, I can imagine her apartment with probably pictures of him up on the wall and charts when he goes places and things like that. I mean, crazy. Or he was probably the most amazing guy in bed she's ever had. Who the hell knows here? Article goes on to say, I don't want to give men's rights activists any more reason to crow about how all women are crazy. Well, too late. But I will say that Wilson isn't the only person who's done this kind of thing. In September, a woman named Catherine Goins tried to pull off a similar ruse by faking pregnancy to make her boyfriend stay with her. When he found out that she wasn't actually pregnant, she murdered another woman so that she could steal her baby and pretend it was hers. Oh my God, that's insane. There was another case in April where a woman named Grisel Ramirez kidnapped a newborn from a hospital in an attempt to get back with her estranged husband. And in 2012, a woman named Annette Morales Rodriguez stabbed a pregnant woman with an X-Acto knife in an attempt to cut the feces out and steal it. I'm not sure why she wanted the feces rather than a baby that had already been birthed, but it had something to do with her wanting to give her boyfriend a baby after previously having 2 miscarriages. And it says in parentheses, it also probably had something to do with her being pretty damn disturbed. Gee, you think? So again, the author of this article said, remember, I don't want to give men's right activists any more reason to crow about how women are crazy. Well, what do you expect? Goes on here to say, anyway, back to the story. When Wilson told Griffiths that he had knocked her up, he seemed to take it in stride. He and his parents reportedly welcomed Wilson into the family and showered her with gifts, including a car. It's not totally clear what the status of the relationship was at this time, but Griffiths was building a small house on the grounds of a family home, according to the Telegraph. So it looks like they were trying to scrape things together and be a little family. This went on for 6 months. 6 months, guys. She had borrowed a baby and put on this act. That's insane. But the thing is this, is that she obviously wasn't too crazy to pull off this diabolical scheme here. And imagine finding you're this guy and you then find out that she borrowed a baby and all that. I mean, my God. Here we go. Now this is where it gets good. Then when Griffiths posted a photo of him and his son on Facebook, someone recognized the kid and told Griffiths that there was no way he could be the father. Imagine getting that direct message or email or phone call. When the case was presented to the Bridgend Magistrates Court, the judge ruled that the discovery of the child's real identity has left Griffiths and his family with a feeling of loss similar to bereavement. Some examples of this include the fact that Griffiths had sacrificed his summer vacation to build a new house for his new family and had planned to sell his MGF convertible as it wasn't child-friendly. Griffiths' parents also stated that they had spent an awful lot of money in accepting that he was our flesh and blood. Yeah, so imagine that, you know, I don't know where this woman comes. She, no pun intended, she arrives with a baby and says it's yours and has all the documents to prove it's true. And the guy's like, okay, you know, I'll do what he thinks is the right thing. Welcomes the child into his life, tries to be a good dad, makes sacrifices, gets attached, and then finds out that this is all bullshit. I mean, my God. Wilson, the woman, was sentenced to 4 months in jail on 2 counts of fraud. 4 months for all that? You got to be kidding me. Again, if a guy did something equal to that kind of crazy, believe me, he'd get a lot more than 4 months. Yeah, she was sentenced to 4 months in jail on 2 counts of fraud. But she was let out early yesterday after only 23 days on the condition that she take a course on thinking skills. Griffiths and his family have now placed a restraining order against Wilson. 23 days for this whole thing? You've got to be kidding me. My God. About serious fraud there. And how about the woman that lent the baby? She's liable for some of this. What, she'll get 2 days? Article ends saying, oh, listen to this. This is from a lawyer. Article ends saying, in Wilson's defense, her attorney argued she felt she had a connection with Mr. Griffiths and wanted to be with him, which seems like a pretty thin excuse for lying to someone for months. It's not just lying to someone, it's making you believe that you're a father and this is your child and you get attached and make sacrifices and spend money for this child. It's unclear why the toddler's real parents gave the kid up to this woman for 6 months, but the child is likely back with them now, or at least until one of their other friends asks to borrow it. Well, I don't know how the authorities haven't found out, obviously, who this child belongs to, and had those parents brought up on charges, and have that child probably living with the grandma or uncle or somebody sane, not just going back to mom and dad that lent the baby out. It's crazy. And I would like to know if, obviously, they were getting paid for this, because it's hard to imagine that they were just lending their kid just so this chick can get her true love, as she may have put it. I mean, come on here. But, truth is stranger than fiction. But anyway, guys, I saw this article here, and I thought it'd be good to share. Like I said, I mean, for those of you guys that like to do one-night stands, it's not that this is going to happen, but just be aware. There are a lot of nut jobs out there, so just be careful, okay? So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.